there are a lot of models: corporate philanthropy, corporate social responsibility, corporate sustainability, conscious capitalism, inclusive capitalism, capitalism 24,000, impact investing, ESG investing. There are about 40 of them or so that we list in the book. I was actually at a meeting at the White House in the last days of the Obama administration, and we had people who had been the developers of all of these things there, and we were talking about what's the right brand. You know, which one of these things is really the right brand that we should all support. Of course, everybody thought their version was the right brand, but I thought, well, look, there's something bigger going on here. The thing that's bigger is, look, we've got to have, and people are out doing it, this new idea about what business is. So let's figure out what are the 4 or 5 key ideas or principles or whatever you want to call them that really should be behind all of these.
Mm-hmm.
And let's focus on those, and whatever the brand emerges is fine. Some of these ideas are, I think, easier to see than others, but I don't. Most people who are using them, are trying to make business better. Even though some of them like shared value, depend on the idea of economic value and just the money to even state them. Sometimes corporate social responsibility can mean, well, I do all this economic stuff, it has bad consequences, and so I'll do some good stuff to make up for that. Philanthropy can be like that. And so I think that's the broader movement that's going on. And what companies should do is they should think about their purpose and try to remember what it is if they've lost it, or put it forward in the center if they haven't lost it. Many entrepreneurs are pretty clear about their purpose. Sometimes they get caught up in the try to raise money game so much that they forget about it. Companies need to figure out in a pretty detailed way who their stakeholders are, how they create value for them, and how creating value for one affects the value created for the others. Stakeholders are interdependent. It's not, and you can't manage them by looking for trade-offs. You need the subtitle of this book is Responsible Business Without Trade-offs. How do you satisfy customers and suppliers and employees and communities and the people with the money at the same time? They have different interests, but the entrepreneur's job, the executive's job, is to make those interests be, the phrase I like is harmonized. In music, harmony is the idea that even though the notes are different, they sound good together. And ultimately, you might have to make some trade-offs because the world's not perfect. But if all you ever look for is trade-offs, that's all you find. I'll do a little bit less for communities so I can increase earnings. Well, if those are the kinds of questions you ask all the time, what I'm going to say is you're taking a shortcut rather than saying, gee, how can I figure out how to make enough money so I can do what I need to do for the community. And that's, again, what we've called the power of and, thinking about those things together. Many of the current models look for trade-offs. They would say, well, let's take lower profits in order to do social good. Our view is, no, I want you to make a lot of money so you can do a lot of good for society. And it's a different way of thinking about business. But I would say most businesses need to start with purpose and really having a grip on who their stakeholders are and how they create value, how those things go together, or how they conflict.